Today in this video, I'm going to be telling how you can and you will get straight A's in your A-levels as long as you listen and apply these tips to your life right after you finish watching this video. If I'm being honest with you, I've never been your conventional straight A student. And if I'm being even more honest with you, I never really knew how to revise until I was in year 11. The pandemic was a real eye-opener for me, and it suddenly revealed to me that my grades and the number of accessible doors open to me in the future was in the hands of my teachers, who pretty much had no belief in me. I would constantly call my mum to tell her how I've been misbehaving, being disruptive, and just not really putting in the effort in I should be. This really clicked for me, and I knew if it was up to them, my potential would be so limited. And so, when we were all stuck at home, I began to revise a crazy amount of hours on my computer. I had to be real with myself. As a year 11 student who was about to be doing the GCSEs, like even the basics of some of the subjects I didn't fully know. So everything I'm about to tell you not only allowed me to catch up, but overtake some students who had been revising consistently for years beforehand. Believe me when I say this is all you need to listen to and implement to reach your full potential. And after getting top grades in my GCSEs, pretty much all A's in my A-levels, and watching top performing students in all my classes, I continued to develop my approach to my revision to the 5 tips I have now. The first tip I have for you is set up reminders, because you will get distracted. It happens to all of us. A lot of us will get a rise in motivation, quickly make a plan to start revising every day. But making the plan is easy, but sticking to it is the hardest, but is what gives you the most reward. A lot of the time we'll start the plan well, but then stuff gets in the way and we forget how important this initially was for us. So we need to constantly remind ourselves that this is one of our top priorities, so that when it does get boring and hard, we're able to push through it and stay dialed in. Having a why that is far greater than the mental or emotional friction between you and the revision serves as an automatic reminder, which reminds you internally that what you set out to do is worth it, keeping you on track and focused. And for external reminders, maybe having a group of friends who can keep you accountable to the goals you set out to do, or simply just putting a sticky note on your door with all your goals and plans on it, giving you that sense of fear of losing your self-respect if you don't stick to this plan. There's a high possibility you will drift off. So you need to constantly remind yourself internally or externally, or both, to reassure you that these hard times, these boring times are worth it for the sake of fulfilling your goal. Motivation is what gets you moving, but discipline is what keeps you moving. Number 2, don't listen to your teachers entirely. I know this is a bit of a controversial one, but sometimes the teachers aren't always the best to listen to. They may not always have your best interests, and they simply may just be doing what they got to do to get that paycheck in for them to survive. Some of my teachers would just hand us papers and sheets, tell us to do them. And though some of these may be effective or good to do, they're simply just filling a gap of time just to show that you're doing something really. They're not really serving a real purpose to the development of your understanding. It's just another tick off the checkbox. You've done your work, but you've got to ask yourself, is it really helping you? Is it really developing that understanding? And some of these exercises which teachers give, they don't really do that. They're just there to make you or the teacher just feel better about yourself. Reflect on your tests and knowledge, and prioritize exercises that you know will help you. develop, that you're understanding. I've seen so many well-behaved students excel in class but not do so well in tests because they just solely listen to the teacher, follow what the teacher says, even though it's not really clicking, and they just listen to the teachers blindly and just follow what they say. But you're really limiting your potential by doing that. And obviously most things teachers say are good, you should listen to it. But for some of those exercises which people put such a high priority on, just really be honest with yourself. Is this what's gonna get you to that next level? That brings me to my next point, number 3. Find the revision method that works for you. At the start of the year, where there are no high pressure exams, just explore all the revision methods out there. There's so many. You can try YouTube videos, websites, textbooks, flashcards, try them all. And just continually reflect on yourself and what works for you and that subject. Not all revision methods will work for all subjects. So the skill of reflecting and adjusting where it needs to be, and not just sticking to something because it's comfortable or someone told you to do it, is very important. And is essentially what will allow you to accelerate past your peers and achieve so much in a short amount of time. Don't waste time doing something if it isn't working. If a revision method is giving you a grade that you don't like or you don't want, then it's time to change. If you're doing flashcards and you're constantly disappointed with the grade you're getting after your exams or your tests, then it's time to adjust your revision method for that subject. And for me, my revision method for my 3 subjects, maths, chemistry and physics, the 3 of them, some were similar, but then some were quite different. Like for maths, I like to watch videos, like shout out to Bison Maths. I'm telling you, you carried my A-levels. But I like to watch videos, then I would I'll just follow the questions he put, write them down, and then nearer to the time of the exam, I'd go through them, serving as that reminder. Or chemistry, I would just read the textbook, because the textbook basically had everything, but I would just write in these kind of similar to flashcards, but I wrote on like A4 paper, and I just write the points which were the most important, or the ones which I would need in the exam. So just really just kind of exploring and just finding what works for you, I'd say. There's so many methods out there, but you don't have to take any conventional ones. Just find what works for you, what develops your understanding the most, and then just stick to it. Number 4, stop wasting time. If you're going to revise. If you're going to watch TV, you know? Don't be trying to put 2 things together, because I've been on both sides of the coin with this, and trust me when I say, giving the revision your 100% focus is 10 times greater than trying to multitask with background music or whatever. Like, you may still be able to learn and get through things, but I'm telling you, giving it your 100% focus is the greatest thing you can do. I'm telling you, you'll accelerate past people. And this is probably one of the main reasons I was able to learn so quickly and efficiently, because every time I revised on my computer, silence around me, and I was just focusing on that one thing, and I didn't move to the next thing until I got past it. So I'm telling you, don't waste time. If you got 2 hours to revise, then you revise those 2 hours, and then you've got whatever the next 1 hour or the next 2 hours to do whatever you want then. And then if you need to revise after that, then you revise solely on what you're doing. The students who are able to apply 100% of their focus will accelerate past the average and go much further. kind of suggest not planning breaks. Kind of be spontaneous with it, because you lose focus in anticipation of having that break. If there's a specific section of your revision, finish that first and then take a break. Because you don't want to take a break halfway through, because you may have wasted that time revising that half, and then you may have to come back and go over it because you didn't fully finish understanding all of it. So I suggest finishing whatever you're doing and then moving on to the next. Don't ruin your flow state with the anticipation of a break. Take a break when the effectiveness of your work starts to plateau. Number 5, change your mindset as soon as possible. Start thinking long-term of your revision and stop prioritizing these mini tests that don't really matter. Obviously, use these tests as a way of checking on your progress and seeing if you need to adjust your revision method, but do not solely focus on them because they do not matter. At the start of the year, where there's not really any high pressure exams, I really suggest exploring the revision methods and finding what works for you. For myself, I found what works for me kind of late, and if I was able to find this 3 months, 4 months beforehand, I would have been less stressed and I would have been in such a way better position. You don't want to be making revision resources when you should be going over them before your exams. So start early. Change your mindset, how you approach your revision. The quicker you change the mindset, all the other tips will just work. It'll just be automatic, it'll just flow. Because your mind is the most powerful thing. It controls your being, it controls the way you move, your emotions, everything. If you're going to stick to something, it's your mind that will keep you on track. So by thinking ahead, put emphasis on the right things at the right time. You don't want to be doing past paper questions when you haven't even gone through all of the content yet. This will just be demotivating and just kind of discourage you from fulfilling your goals. I've seen so many people, they'll hear, do past paper questions, do all this, and then they'll do them, and then they just feel sad, they just don't even feel like revising anymore. And I've literally seen my own eyes, they just do questions, they get it wrong, and then they just throw away the paper and do something else. Because it's demotivating. Even I wouldn't want to be doing that, doing questions and I'm getting it wrong. So find a plan, revise the content first. Only really do exam questions before those high pressure exams. That's where they're going to be the most effective. And again, this comes to changing your mindset and thinking long term instead of short term. If you're able to do that, you'll go over the content and then do the questions. Because doing the questions may help you short term, but then going over the content, building that foundation, and then doing the questions is what puts the cherry on top. Think about results there. Do you want to be disappointed and dissatisfied with yourself and know in the back of your head that you didn't give it your all and this isn't a true reflection of your full potential? Or on results day, do you want to be content and confident with the grade you got and know inside that you gave it your all and you worked so hard for it? So remind yourself about those feelings, because those feelings will come, either one of them. So choose the path you want to take. This has been my top 5 main, most important tips that's helped me propel forward in my academics and life as well, to be honest. Some of these has truly helped me in life. And again, if school isn't for you, just the skill of being able to set a goal and stick to it is a very important skill. And if your school isn't your main focus in life, or you know it's not going to be the one that gives you full your purpose, then if you're able to stick to it and excel in school, then imagine what you will do when you do find that thing that aligns with your purpose. So again, there's no negatives really to it. It's all positives. And that's how you gotta change your mindset to view it. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.